Yeah, the banner's still down, people. It's been down since the beginning of time. It's been down since that atrocious atrocity of what we played on last week, and I'm not bringing it back up till they act like they got some sense. But welcome to the North Carolina Live Podcast. I'm your co-host, one of the most, the captain of the Hooligan Express, Tornado McCray, and I feel like my co-host can't hear me the way he's looking at me.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, are you? You sure?
Indeed.
Ben,
looking for a thing, you can't find it, and I'm mad about it.
What thing are you looking for?
Don't worry about it.
What do you mean? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. You see it, you know.
This guy here, bro. I swear, each week in and week out, this man, this individual, does his darndest to push my buttons and push my nerves. Why?
Because rigmarole. Razzmatazz.
You suck. This is probably the most lackluster intro we've had in a minute. That's why you can't find whatever you're looking for.
That's exactly why I can't find it.
That's exactly why. But introduce the people, man. Introduce yourself.
But yo, what's good? What's happening? How you living? It's your boy Ricebox26, and we back with another North Carolina Live. And man, I guess this will do.
That's it. That's all you got.
Yeah. Because boy, do we got something to talk about. But now this is what I was looking for. I was looking for a different one of these, but this is
oh,
it.
Okay. So you were just giving them a whole different background.
I'll just give it a whole different background.
You know what? Smart idea. I'll do that.
I'm just playing.
Ah! Jesus. Nah.
So, because man, oh man,
it was tragic.
It is. It did not was. It is, and it continues to be. Because
it was tragic. It was atrocious. It was abysmal. It was everything under the sun. And we spoke about it last week. We did speak about it.
And the bad thing is, it just gets worse. It just gets worse. Because now, at one point where we thought it was just bad play on the field, apparently, according to some parents, it's bad play all the way around. Because you got parents, because listen, some players' parents are saying that the environment at UNC is toxic. There's been some issues going on in the locker room. There's been some issues going on with a whole bunch of stuff, apparently.
So who's saying it's toxic? So what's the deal? Like, are we saying it's like high school toxic, middle school toxic, college campus toxic, like your ex-girlfriend that never wants to break up with you, but you keep going back to her because you know it ain't good for you toxic? Like, what are we talking about here? Not that I have any experience.
They had me stuck. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, I caught my co-host off guard. He knows the lore. He knows the lore.
But like, so apparently, according to Pat Welter of WRAL News, and we'll actually bring up WRAL a little bit later again in this. There's been some discontent building around the program. Like, according to multiple sources with knowledge of the inner workings of Belichick's program, says results on the field are a product of a divided locker room, disorganized coaching staff, and a failure to communicate. And we've talked about it before. We've talked about it several times that we even agree, like, the failure to communicate is a big problem. And according to one of the parents of one of the players, it says it's all starting at the top and the boys are being affected. I don't fault the players. I fault the leadership that created this toxic environment. There's an individualistic mindset. The boys are young and they're feeding into it. Another one said it's an unstructured mess. There's no culture, no organization. It's a complete disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And according to some reports, portal players are getting preferential treatment over just general players who weren't, recruited directly by Belichick. Parents have asked questions about the lack of communication from coaching staff, but have no response. They've been also, there's also been criticism and questions about the hiring decisions by Belichick made on the coaching staff, i.e., him hiring his sons and Lombardi's son to the coaching staff. And it's being viewed as nepotism by some of the players. And another one of the sources that spoke to Welter said the lack of experience the coaches have is ridiculous. And overall, I'm going to say, no, I agree. Because the most experienced coaches you have is Freddie Kitchens and one of the Belichick boys outside of Bill himself.
I'm about to say it's Steve. I can't even say Bill's most experienced because if we're talking college football alone, Bill ain't got no
Steve has the most experience between the three of them.
Bill ain't got no experience in this game. What do you mean?
He don't. But we're just talking about like coaching experience in general. Because I think they said what? I think they said in the last game on the coaching staff, there's 10 years of NFL experience as a coach. And it's like, okay, you got Freddie Kitchens.
1.5 college experience.
Because you got Freddie Kitchens with 4? Bill Belichick with the rest of it. Then Steve with the other 6 years.
Maybe.
So it's like, because the other Belichick son, like I said, I don't know exactly where he came from. I know he said, I think I remember seeing that he was at Texas Tech at one point or something like that. I don't really know exactly where he came from. I think he might have been the linebackers coach before.
I know Steve was a linebacker. I remember Steve was a linebacker coach, but he was a linebacker. He was a linebacker coach in New England, then did that 1 year in Washington, like we talked on Saturday. And then now he's here. So I cannot say whether or not he's there. Hold up.
Because his other...
I feel like I'm quiet.
No, I can hear you pretty good. Because Will Friend is pretty experienced. The Trone Means is experienced.
Is this louder or softer?
It's louder.
Whole lot louder. Is it like distorted?
No.
Should I turn it down or is it good?
I think you're good.
Okay. I'm just trying to make sure.
So yeah. So Brian Belichick, I don't know exactly what his level of experience is. I know
it's nepotism. Let's call it for what it is. I'm pushing a narrative. You know what? For entertainment value, I don't care. It's nepotism. That's what it is. That's all it has been. That's all it ever will be. Bill just wants to play with his boys. Pause. Sounds horrible. He just wants to play with his sons. He doesn't care about anybody else. He wants to make sure his sons are always in a position to coach and make money. That's what we're here for. That's why he's doing this. They could have had no experience. They could have been coaching high schoolers.
So Brian Belichick, who's over the defensive backs, he has 3 years as an NFL coach for safety, right? And he took over as the safeties coach in New England, and that was in 2020 through 23.
And it just happened he
had been. Oh, no, he was also a defensive assistant from 2017 to 2019. But outside of that, before then, he had a 9-year stint with the Patriots, mostly as a scouting assistant. So he began as a scouting assistant in 2016, then became a defensive assistant from 2017 to 2019, and then the defensive backs coach, and then the safeties coach from 2020 to 2024. And now he's the defensive back and safeties coach in North Carolina. And
it does not translate.
Probably does not translate.
Yeah, it's not translated. Ain't no probably. It's not translated. Have you seen it? Bro, did you see how
probably should have picked somebody else.
Did you see how torched our safeties looked on Saturday? I know you seen it,
Oh
but
no, I was saying probably as in like you probably should have picked somebody else. But let's see here. Then you got Natrone Means, who's a Tar Heel legend, 20-year coaching veteran, 5th-year member of Carolina coaching staff. So he's got the thing. And honestly, as a running backs coach, we do see with Damon June looking good.
Yeah,
one of the few highlights aren't particularly the problem. It's the line in front of them that is.
The entire line.
And saying he's been with the staff since 2021.
Just saying.
So he's been with North Carolina for a minute. Even coached at Livingston College in 2005. Was an offensive coordinator in 2006. He's got a resume. And he's got a college resume on top of that. So the Trone Means good, bro. You can stay.
Here's my thing, though. Now,
Matt
and I'm going to say this. I think it is kind of crazy that parents are getting involved because I understand you're a parent. You care about your child. You care about your son, and you want them to experience a good thing or whatever the case may be. However, unless your child is getting abused or mistreated, like unjustly mistreated, to sit there and come out publicly like, oh, they have my son in a toxic work environment, this, that, and the third. That's just something your son's gonna have to work through and be man enough to whether or not he wants to stay or leave. Now, I'm not saying the kids have to endure that by any means, shape, or by any shape or means, you know? Like, if it's a toxic environment, it's a toxic environment. You don't have to endure that. However, I don't think it's a good look on Bill nor the parents to be coming out like this is high school and middle school and just airing it out.
No, I'll say from a parent standpoint, no. I think the parents in this particular situation are right to have concerns, because if you are being told that there's been preferential treatment because Bill didn't recruit you directly, so that's affecting your development on the team, and what you're seeing on the field is a direct relation to that. And then when you're trying to communicate with the coaching staff on what's going on, or what can, even on the basis of maybe what can we do to help you to figure out how to make this a better situation for both my child and the rest of the team, and you get no responses back. Because remember, this is only college. These are still young kids.
Oh no, they are still young kids.
I know they're still. But they're still basic.
Here's the thing: they're still young kids. I agree with you on that, because 18, 19 years old, you're out of your parents' house for the first time, so on and so forth. But that goes back to my thing of, if they are not being like abused or mistreated or being put in situations where their health is at like a critical detriment, I don't foresee how this is great. And I don't think the parents have like as much of a right as you're saying they do, or as much as I'm understanding, to come out. Because the 4-star recruit definitely gets more preferential treatment than the 2-star, definitely gets more preferential treatment than the 1-star, definitely gets more preferential treatment than the walk-on. Because they don't, like, you're just there trying to earn your reps, and you have to insert yourself as a former walk-on. You have to insert yourself where you can. You have to find your spot and just basically just grind your butt off to do it. But if the environment is that toxic, if the environment is that like just detrimental to your health, to your mental capacity, to anything like that, you now have an out as an athlete to get in the transfer portal and go somewhere else. It's a whole lot better than where it was. You have an out to get in the transfer portal and leave and go to a better situation, to a coach that's going to actually treat you fairly, as a parent to treat your kid fairly, or treat your kid the way you feel your kid should be treated. Because every parent thinks their kid should be given the opportunity, should be treated, and as a parent, you should. Not saying you shouldn't. Definitely not saying you shouldn't. But I'm saying as part of that growth and being an adult and being a man is you trying to figure out, okay, is this just a sucky year and it'll get better with time? Or is this really a bad environment and I need to leave? Because think about it. You and I have had jobs before where we knew the difference between it was just a sucky time period at that job and no, this is a toxic environment that I can't be in anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, and like I said, and I get your point. I do. I'm not saying that your point is wrong. I think the elephant in the room that we're avoiding is when you have a locker room that is entirely divided, and no matter what, and clearly whatever you're doing as a leader and a coaching staff is not fixing the problem, then when you're not exactly communicating what it is, what you can do to fix the issue to your team, like to your team at least, is another problem. So then now when you have parents who have children, like who have kids who are invested in this program and want it to be successful, but instead of giving, it's like, and the other real, I guess the real question is, when you advertised we're playing the best people available all spring and all fall, we don't care about what your stars are, we don't care where you came from, we don't care about none of that, then you have a whole roster full of 70 new players. And then you see the performances that you're seeing, it brings to question, what exactly are you doing as a coaching staff and as a coach? Because right now, whatever it is you're doing is wrong. Whatever it is you're doing isn't producing progress. From the looks of it, the last several weeks, you've taken steps back. The only step forward you took was from Charlotte to Richmond. And then when you got back to UCF, you took a step back. And you got Clemson, you took a leap back when you got to Clemson.
Here's the crazy question to pose. And you bring up a good point. You do bring up a good point. But
so I think at the end of the day, it's more like parents are concerned about not just that, but this is also going to affect if their kids want to do something at the next level, but don't want to leave North Carolina. This is going to affect their success. Because we spoke on it before when he started blocking scouts coming to the practices. And we got another thing that I don't know if it's on the docket or not, but the fact that you're blocking North Carolina from showing highlights from previous players just because they play for New England.
Yeah, that
it makes you
that's like this makes petty. You wonder, that's just petty. And
stuff like this makes you wonder, okay, what part of it, what of this is a squabble between you and your former employer just to prove that you can still coach? Or what part of this is you actually making the real effort of coaching these kids to make them successful?
And
I think that's what the parent is why they're airing it out. It's like, okay, what are you doing? From all the stuff we saw leading up to now, and then we see this. Like, what's going on, bro?
And I guess I'll ask. I'll ask this question because it's thinking in my head. We advertised we're playing the best 22, right? We're always going to play the best 22 that's available. What if, because I think it is a possibility, the 22 they put out there are objectively the best 22, and they just have a bad roster and didn't know it?
I'm about to say, and then we come back to the same conversation of you just have a roster with a lack of talent on it. and we hate to say it because even Max Johnson denies this roster with a lack of talent.
I'm not saying they have a lack of talent, but I'm also saying if, let's play devil's advocate, Carolina goes into the next game and just says, hey, yo, we going to start these 22. Y'all got 2 drives. If you don't do anything, I'm pulling everybody. We are just going to see what works. Like, we're just going to figure it out real quick. Everybody gets swapped out. You got 2 drives to prove your point. You will be dropped in the next drive for your backup. And then the backup, you got 2 drives or whatever the case may be. Let's say they do all that. Fine tune, figure it out, get a new squad, get a brand new starting lineup. And that lineup just does as bad. And then they redo it. And it turns out they do this all season trying to figure out a lineup. And it turns out the whole roster is bad. Now the question in playing devil advocate is going to come. Was Bill a bad coach? Was the scouts he had bad? Is Bill or is it just the players they had couldn't execute what he wanted to do? Because at certain point, we always say, yeah, coaches fall for a lot of stuff. But at a certain point, players on the field got to execute too.